All right, I'm going to spend a few minutes now and just break down how I arrived here at scene 14 and the process that I went through. Here's the final version of it. It's 47 frame shot. I have our Howard Cosellasaurus is already up in the air. He's getting ready to fight our lizard queen coming in. He's preparing to fight off her attack, but he gets thrown backwards. And the sword just comes in for a very short time. We just get a hint of that sword, and then boom, it's fought off with the effects there. The flash effects just give us the feel that something has happened. We don't really need to see the whole, I'm attacking you, fought me off. The main story point is that our red dinosaur here gets thrown back to the right, and he's going to be landing on that ship in the distance. So we're doing all this, the beginning, middle, and end in 47 frames, less than 48 frames. And this scene could have become a real time suck. This could have I could have gone down all kinds of rabbit holes and spent a bunch of time here. But I took a bunch of shortcuts, and it still got me where I want to go. So let's go and look at the animatic. So the animatic, I already had the backgrounds worked out. And again, we'll watch this at slower speed. So I had my 3 poses there for Howard Cosellasaurus dinosaur. And he's coming up, he's getting ready to fight off, he fights it off. Great. And then our green dinosaur, I don't even have posed out here in the animatic. But the idea is there already, and I really like this idea, which I took from Ronin Warriors episode, of we're panning with the background as we go up in the sky, and then we just cross-dissolve to looking at the water. It's like if you're going to be going like, oh, we're looking at the sky, we're looking at the water, that could become a really complex process. But the cross-dissolve give us the, I think anyway, and that's what I was going with, is the feeling of going from sky to water, and with the surrounding scenes it makes more sense with the colors. But all we need is the feeling. That's what the audience cares about. The audience isn't caring about, this doesn't look like we went from the sky to the water. As long as we feel like it and we don't get lost along the way. So TV Paint, I get in here, and I've got these animatic drawings. Got that rough there, this rough here, that rough's for another, the next shot, and these are just taken from my sketchbook, and then this rough here, and then I've got my lines. This is my line art, and you can see that I've kept it pretty rough here. Let me show the sword as well. Put the sword on a separate layer just so I'd have flexibility to move it around. So we're starting here, here's our in-between, breakdown, going over here, settling in, fighting off the incoming sword attack, over to here. Now, the whole thing about going off in the distance, back in the day you would have to animate that on the page, but now we like I say, shortcuts. So I just go to here, and then all I'm doing is I'm turning the head, moving the arms, and I'm just going to rotate the arms and the legs here. You can see they're just the same drawing, just rotated and offset with the body staying in the same place. Now this looks kind of silly in place, but when it's moving across the screen, it's much more convincing. And then I was thinking I did one more drawing here just in case I needed to keep going, but I had enough as it was. And then this one here, this is my one drawing, and I'm just going to pan this one drawing in. I don't even need to animate this for it to work because it's so short at the end of the shot. So I've got all my line drawings here. Here's my tones that I drew on. Get a sense of the light source coming from the top right there. If we just look at the tones by themselves, it's pretty descriptive. Hide the sword lines again. Pretty descriptive. You can see what's going on just based on the tones, and that's the way tones should be. You should be able to see the pose just based on the tones that are there. Tones, lines, fills. There we go. All just done in TV Paint. Again, turn on my sword lines one more time. There we go. And yeah, this is just the one frame. Cool, and then I've also got those extra frames of glow here. And I'll just actually turn the background dark, just so we can really clearly see. So these are just scribbles. I've got the one frame here, got the one frame, 2 frames, 3, 4, 5. That's it. I just have 5 frames of glow there, and that's all we need. Again, just to give us this feeling of, whoa, he just fought off something. It's not really clear what it was, but we get the visceral feeling. We don't need the logic necessarily. All right, cool. And then I take this into Flash. And Flash here, I'm for the most part, here's the how it looks in Flash. For the most part, I'm just using the drawing straight up, except when he goes off in the distance here. So the off in the distance, I've taken these drawings from TV Paint, rotated them as they're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in a symbol inside another layer here, I've had this motion path and following the motion path while it's rotating and the drawings are changing. So we don't really get a sense that it's a static drawing moving back because you can see the silhouette changes in the arms and the legs. And we have the rotation of the body as well as the arc. So it's just layering all these little pieces on top of each other so that we don't feel like, oh, look, it's just a panning drawing. So that's all good. And then I take it into Filmora. And this is where I've got all my layers here. Here's my background, the sky, here's the water over here. I've got these lines here that I've put some effects on just to make it so they don't look quite so, you know, just, these are just scribbles here. But as soon as I put some distortion on those, put some blur on those, put some film grain on, we can look closer at those. Yeah, I mean, you can see the film grain on the character as well. And yeah, it just makes it look a lot more interesting and fits in with the rest of the shot. So we've got that there. We've got the sky on a separate layer. Let's look back to full thing. Filmora is my editing software. It's relatively cheap. I bought it before it became a subscription. I'm not sure if you can still buy it just straight up, but yeah, whenever you can buy software straight up, it's a good idea. Yep, panning back. I put an outline on the character. Let's see if I can find the layer where I did that. That's the film grain layer. Here's my outline. Yep. So that just puts a neon glow and glow darks, give us a black outline on the character. And there's our effects with the glow on them, and that's the thing. I just love that. You get all this stuff for free. You know, I just did these little scribbles here, but then when I put the blur helps, as well as the neon glow. There we go. That's what's helping sell it here. Glow, fight, boom, back we go. And here comes our one drawing in for the last 5 frames. And this is using the 6 frame rule. If anything is 6 frames or less, you're going to feel it, well, less than 6 frames, you're going to feel it more than you're going to see it or actually logically process it. If it's 6 frames or more, then we start to actually think about it more than we just do feel it. And yeah, this is how I put this scene together. I'll play it one more time. And that's it. That's my scene 14. Yeah, pretty happy with how efficiently I was able to get that done and put it up there without too much, too many rabbit holes going down. I've got a tight budget. I've got a 300-hour budget for the film. Might go as high as 350, but with shortcuts like this, I'm able to stay on track. Thanks for checking it out. More to come.